Hey, and welcome to Thursday Night Live. So I have absolutely no idea if that intro played at all. I saw that there were some comments about buffering issues, which probably. It's been raining pretty bad here, and when it rains, internet, not great. Anyway, I hope you all had a wonderful, wonderful Christmas and got all the things you wanted from Santa. I know I did. It was amazing, just amazing. So tonight, what I'm going to be talking about is 2025, the year ahead. So here we go. And I think this is just going to be a really important topic as we set the intention. Last week, we talked about setting the intention for the next year. And this is kind of setting the stage of what's going on in the background energetically. Excuse me. So in numerology, 2025 is considered a 9 year. And a 9 represents the completion of a cycle because numbers go from 1 to 9 and then cycle back to 10, which is equal to a 1. But where were we? So in 2024, it was an 8 year, and it was about redefining our goals and holding our emotional space for the life we're leaving behind. It was about empowering and liberating our energy where the hard work we put in starts paying off. But it also requires that we shifted away from the reflective lessons of the 7 year or 2023 and fearlessly embracing the rapid changes of the coming year. By identifying the areas in our lives that are personally dissatisfying or underdeveloped, we can take the first steps to transforming ourselves and our lives. And I really feel like that was a true statement. There are so many people that I know, clients, friends, myself, that really were looking at things that were going on in their lives, setting boundaries, completing goals, identifying things that were important to themselves, and taking steps to changing them and having them be better and different for themselves and for the coming year. And so 2025 is a year of releasing and purging those things that are no longer serving us, with the goal of 2026 being a new year, a 1 year where we get to bring in and start a new cycle of living. So for 2025, we can use the year to detox ourselves and our life, releasing those things that aren't serving us anymore. So for example, relationships that aren't really working or supporting us, we can end, or a job that doesn't satisfy our needs, we can leave it behind. Most importantly, personal habits that hinder and harm us can be eliminated from our lives if we choose. And I think for a lot of people, there has been visualization and additional clarity as to what's working and what's not working, whether we've taken steps to do something about it or not. So like destructive habits, like getting worked up over things that really don't matter, or indulging in things that are not for our highest good, just distract us from our forward motion. So it's a great year to be ending those habits that harm our health, both physical and mentally, and adopt practices that promote our overall well-being. Now think about it. You've all already been working on this. We've been talking about being mindful and tuning in and listening to that inner guidance, or paying attention to what spirit is prompting us to do. And that has been helping us identify things that aren't working and sets the stage for beginning the process of change for the better. For many people, we have also started testing out our tools, maybe not using them in full force, but trying them out, making a comment in a different way, establishing a boundary, doing things a little bit differently, and seeing how it works out for good or bad. But now we're going to be able to employ them with more certainty and increased clarity. So instead of just going, okay, my answer is no, we'll sit there and go, no, and own that, and own the firmness of our decision to ourselves. because one of the other topics that we've talked about this year is self-love and loving ourselves enough to be able to say no when what is being offered to us isn't in alignment with who we are and what we want. But there's a little bit of a warning that I'm going to put out. It's important to take a pause, to reflect, and become mindful of the projects, dreams, relationships, and ambitions we've nurtured over the last 5 years. Now, these things that we've been wanting to bring in can happen gradually, but the important part is to embrace the flow state, instead of trying to force progress. To do that, we have to pay attention to our ego and other superficial goals. And when we do that, that takes us out of the flow. When we're acting on ego, we're acting on mental energy, versus when we're acting from the heart, we're acting on spirit, the universe. It puts us in the flow. We've talked about separating messages from the soul versus ego. But by the end of this process, by the end of this year, you should be an expert at being able to come into yourself and come into the heart and make decisions based on what's important to you and your well-being. Now, for many of us, we might want to resist the change, but what we're being called upon is to surrender to something that may be hard. It's like, okay, you need to do this. Like spirit is saying, well, you need to do this. And you're like, no. We might be called to leaving a job, but that old fear of, well, what's going to happen to me? And will I have any money? Or ending a relationship where we're comfortable. Inside, we know it's the thing to do. And sometimes we just have to surrender to that process. And doing that can be hard, but resisting it can create frustration and, more importantly, stagnation in our ability to be and have those things that we want. So have faith, trust in the universe that everything will unfold just as it is intended to be. Now, we might find ourselves resorting back to our fear-based thinking, and this will stop the change process right in its track. So if you find yourself in that bad brain place, use your tools, breathe, tap, go for a walk, meditate, journal, do whatever it takes to bring you back into the present moment. The present moment is the soul moment. It is that heartfelt moment where we can make decisions for what we want and what we need and get us out of that egoic place. So 2025 is all about you becoming you becoming your authentic self, so that who you are on the inside is being reflected by who you are on the outside. It's a time to fall in love with yourself and all the things you do. So take a deep breath and breathe in 2025 and exhale 2024 as we move into this new year. So I thought that was really interesting. And I thought, based on this show and the topics that we have covered this year, that we have really been in line with the universal energy on the planet. So yay us, because we're spiritual warriors and we're on top of everything. So that's my thing for this week. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope, you listened to it again. I think I talked a little fast, but that's okay. You can listen to it in the rerun if you really want to take it in a bit deeper. Yeah. So anyway, this show is brought to you by the Institute of Applied Energetics. That's appliedenergeticsinstitute.com, where you can learn to become a medical intuitive, an intuitive counselor, or a certified energy medicine practitioner. And if you go to that webpage, Applied Energetics Institute, you can download their free or my free 50-page guide, Jumpstart Your Intuition, to start you on this process, to opening you up to your intuitive information and guidance. And as always, if there's something going on in your life and you need to get some deeper insights, a question about your health, your relationships, your work, those kind of things, reach out to me at my webpage, soulhealer.com, and we can set up a time for a private consultation. And if you're listening to this show, either this intro part or the full show, and you would like to join the fun, the easiest place to do that is by going to my YouTube channel, which is Just Energy Radio on YouTube. That's Just Energy Radio on YouTube. Click the live button at 7 p.m. Central, and you can join the chat, and you too can get a free on-air psychic reading from me, Dr. Rita Louise. Anyway, guys, I hope